Hey guys, so I'm actually about to water all of my plants in my 3 Ikea greenhouses. So I figured I would take you guys along and share some growth updates. So I do water all my plants using this water pump. I got this on Amazon. I'll have it linked in the description below. This is just a 1 gallon. If you're gonna get one, I recommend getting a 2 gallon. It just holds a lot more water so you don't have to refill it so much. This just makes everything a little easier for me when I have to water a lot of plants at once. This is great because you can have it like sit on the floor and then have like the long hose so you don't have to hold it the whole time like a watering can. I do have like really bad chronic back pain. Having something like this is a little bit more beneficial for me because I don't have to hold it and it doesn't give me so much strain like on my joints and stuff like that. So I did fill it up with water and I remembered to put fertilizer in there. This is the fertilizer I'm using. I'm almost done, so when I'm finished this one I'm gonna try to use the Dynagrow Foliage Pro. This is the Dynagrow that I've been using. I was actually recommended this specific one from a wholesale orchid greenhouse. They're really like knowledgeable there and I decided to try it from them. So I've been just using this one, but I do want to try the other one, so I'll probably order the other one on Amazon. So I'm just gonna close it up and just shake it up. Now we can start watering the plants. So this is my Rudsta cabinet. The top is always a little bit sparse. Pretty much every plant that I put in pond right now is doing so good. Everything has just exceeded my expectation. So I have like all my pond plants up here. I have some leca plants and this fuzzy plant that I have. It's growing like so much. Just gonna give it a lot of water because it's next to the fan. This one right here is a Hoya ovata, Hoya australis lisa. This one is a variegated Burl Marx. You can see, just like look at the root growth on these pond plants. These little glasses, I actually find them at the Dollar Tree. They are candle holders. This one back here is actually a Hoya fungii. That's doing really good too. Put out this really long runner, but it was a 3-leaf cutting on the bottom. Put out these guys and now it has this runner. Look at all those roots. So I'll probably cut it actually. I'm not too much of a fan of like really big bushy and like long Hoyas. Once they get really long to a point where they need a trellis, I kind of want to just like cut them. I don't really like the way that they look. This right here is a Hoya multiflora. Just gonna top it with water. This one drinks a lot of water. This one is always blooming. You can see right here, it's about to bloom soon. And it literally just finished blooming, so yeah. This one is in leca and you can see it's grown quite a bit and it's got like 2 little leaves coming in on the top. Over here are my tricolor aglaonemas. They just hang out in here. They're in leca. I just fill the leca in the pond like halfway so that they have like enough water. Here's a little update on the alocasia Jacqueline corns. So a lot have sprouted. This one's yellowing. Some are yellowing. I mean, they are like the first leaf, so I don't expect them to stay. Yeah, this is how it's looking. We have these guys up here. I think we have probably about 20 corms or something in here. There's a lot. So, and they're all at different stages. So yeah, they are doing really well. I just keep them in here and I close the lid so that they have like extra high humidity. So I'm just gonna moisten the moss. And then this usually is like enough for like the week. Something like this, give them some water. And then I just close it. And just put it back. So I hope you guys can see, but this is the bottom half now. So this one right here, this is a Hoya. I don't know the name of it, but it was an import. And it came from Aroid, Asia. It's starting to finally show its roots on the side and it recently just produced this leaf here. I got this plant like back in March. I'm not sure if it's just a slow grower or just because I did have to cut some of the roots off, so I think it definitely was stunted a little bit. It's finally grown a new leaf. It's such a cool Hoya. I'm obsessed with it. So yeah, and it's doing really good in the leca. Maybe when it's time to repot it, I'll probably put it in pond instead. So back here, this is actually a white princess. It's not like the greatest white princess, but it's still nice, I guess. It has like a lot of growth points, so that's why I kind of got it, because I want to be able to cut it and make multiple plants out of it and be able to have some white princesses on the shop as well. It's finally like putting out some okay variegated leaves. So I'm sorry if the angle's weird. It's really hard to like film in the cabinet while I'm doing stuff, but I hope that you guys can see what I'm doing. So we'll start over here. This is a Pothos Mandula. I'm trying to get it to climb on these moss poles now. I really like the Mandula. I think it's a gorgeous pothos. I don't really have a lot of pothoses, but I do really like this one. And I love how big it gets. Such a beautiful plant. And then right here, this one is actually on moss. I have to take the moss out, but I had put it on moss initially because I needed to get pictures for the website to show what it looks like when it's in moss. And I just never took it out. But this is an Epipremnum pinnatum albo. This one was a little offshoot of the big pinnatum albo that I have, which I'll show you guys in this video. And it actually had root rot a few times, but it survived. And I'm just like so happy with how it's like looking now. So I'm trying to get it to train on the pole. I'll probably just leave it in the moss because I don't want to waste the moss, but yeah. It was considered low variegation, but it is putting out some okay variegated leaves now. You can see. And it gives that like white yellow color. It's really beautiful. Down here, this is my Amygurium cutting. It's doing so well. It was part of my really big Amygurium. I had trimmed it down. And I talked to you guys about this before, but it was really rooted into the moss pole it was, so I was able to pot it right into soil, and it's doing great. I think it's gonna put out a leaf soon. When I'm watering my plants in place like this, they have saucers at the bottom. So when I'm done this video, I'm gonna just come back and empty out all the saucers. I bring like around like a little bucket thingy, and I just pick all the plants up and dump all the extra water in there, and then it's like done in like 2 minutes. It's really quick. This right here is my Milano Chrysum. Now, I've had Milano for a really long time, but if you know, they are kind of finicky. Like all of a sudden they can just go wrong for some reason, and this one did. So I had chopped it all up into like multiple pieces. I sold a few pieces, and now this one is rooted again, and I potted it up, and it's gonna be putting out a new leaf soon, so that's good. So it's doing pretty well. I'm sorry, I know my cabinet is like super filled, so I have to like move stuff around. I feel like I'm in a jungle, but back here is my variegated burl marks. I moved it from the double Detolf into here because I just wanted it to get some more humidity. My double Detolf isn't fully sealed yet, so this one is a little bit better for these type of plants. This one was on a moss pole, and I took it off the moss and I put it on a soil pole. If you're seeing, I have all my plants on soil poles now. I just think that it works better because then your plant is trained to grow in your soil mix versus moss, and then you have to like detangle the moss. Just a much easier transition to have it already in your soil mix, and they're doing really well. So next to it, that's hiding down here, we have the Monstera obliqua. Yeah, look at that fenestration in there. Oh my god, this right here, that's crazy. I have the plants like really squished in here and they just get like covered up, but the reason that I have the obliqua so hidden is because it prefers a little bit less light than most monsteras. If you are having a problem with your obliqua not giving you a leaf and just putting out runners, it's probably because it's getting too much light. Yeah, I have it like hidden because I'm trying to like mimic like what it would be in the wild, I guess, or in nature, so that it's like hiding underneath of like other plants like along the floor or something. And I definitely think it is doing good. So yeah, and make sure that you get this plant on a moss pole or a plank or something like immediately, because that might be your problem. Philodendron Jose Bueno. This is the newest leaf, my first half moon leaf. Gorgeous. The Jose will put out a white variegation first, and then over time it'll fade to like this green, so it'll turn like a green on green variegation. Really beautiful. This one is also in pon. You can see the roots. Probably the best decision I made for it. This is a top cut of the mother plant, which I did sell the bottom to somebody on my website. So that's one thing that you guys should be looking out for, is that I actually do sell plants out of my own collection, and usually when I do, it goes within the same day. Keep an eye out for that kind of stuff, because I sold the bottom cut of this, which has really great genetics. Yeah, so sometimes I do sell the bottom cuts or top cuts, because if you're seeing something in my collection that you want, at some point I am gonna cut it. So yeah, somebody got the bottom, but this is like one of my favorite plants. This is a Pink Princess top cut. Doesn't have the best genetics, but it's living in pon, looking pretty good. As many Pink Princesses that I have, they are probably one of my least favorite plants. I just don't really care for the Pink Princess that much. They get stuck a lot. Like, look at that, it's already getting stuck, and it's like turning like black because it's been stuck too long. So I'm just gonna help it out really quick. Hopefully it'll recover from that. Back here we have a very thirsty Ceratius mirabilis. This was an import, and I'm really obsessed with this plant. It's so beautiful. I wanted one ever since I saw it, and I don't feel like it's on the market that much, just because I don't think people really know what it is. Kind of like the Amy Durium. I'm hoping one day I can bring these to the shop. All right, so all the plants in the Rudsta are watered, so I'm gonna move on to the next cabinet now.
Baby, don't move now. Baby, don't move. You gotta stand still right now, where I can see you. There's a feeling in my heart so strange. Baby, I don't want you to change.
So I'm sorry that I had to speed up that part of me watering, but it's just, I'm a little out of breath, and the way that this cabinet is set up in my living room is that I just don't have enough space to like try to water the plants, stand in front of it and like do it like to a point where you can like understand what I'm saying. I'm just gonna go through the plants now so you know what they are and everything like that. This one right here, this is a philodendron white wizard. It's got some burn spots, but for the longest time I didn't have this plant on a pole, but now I do, so I think it's gonna do a little bit better. I'm just gonna hold the camera for the top section so you can see everything. This is the really tall Pink Princess. We put it on a pole. It's already got a leaf stuck. Oh my god, I broke it. Damn it. Oh my god, I'm so annoyed. Yeah, well, I broke it, so there's that. Down here we have the offshoot of the mother Pink Princess, the one in the back. This one is also growing on a pole, trying to get those big leaves. These are the Pink Princesses that I propagate for the site. So this is the Epipremnum pinnatum album. This leaf is going. I'm just gonna cut it now. If that offends you, I'm sorry. I just don't like looking at leaves that are like already on their way out. There's like no point to keep it. I still don't know where I want this plant, but it is really big. It's on a leca pole, and then in this really nice tall vase. Up here are all the anthurium seedlings. They're doing pretty well. They are doing a little bit better now because like I'm actually caring for them. For a while I was like neglecting them, so you do see some little crusty stuff, but I'm working on it. And then this general area here is just like a little propagation area, random plants, propagation, stuff like that. Right here, this is my, ooh, my goodness. This is my philodendron ring of fire, and it's definitely come a long way. It was purchased as a little seedling and it had like only a few leaves. So it's turned into this big boy and I love it so much. Back here, this is my philodendron Florida Ghost. I tend to keep the Florida Ghost, the Ring of Fire, and the Golden Crocodile together. I don't know why. I think it's because they just like take up a lot of space. So I can only fit these three in this little corner over here. And I kind of like how it is, so I think it looks kind of good like this. I just zoomed in, so I hope you can see it. Put out some sport variegation right there. So hiding back here, this is my philodendron golden crocodile. This was also grown from a seedling, like the same size as the Ring of Fire, so they're both like kind of on the same growth speed. I really love the golden crocodile. I think it's a beautiful plant. It will put out like a more reddish leaf at first, like you can see this one coming in. It puts out this reddish leaf and then it'll fade to like this neon yellow and then eventually fade to like a darker neon green. And it's just a nice plant. It takes up a lot of space, but it is beautiful. I don't think a lot of people like them, but I do. I love the leaf shape. That's why I have the Ring of Fire, this one, and I have the Jungle Boogie because they all have that leaf shape. Moving on to the right side, this is where I keep like all the Syngoniums for the most part. We do have a few yellowing leaves, so I'm just gonna cut them. This one right here is a Syngonium Mojito. This one right here is the Syngonium Panda. I really want to build my Syngonium collection a little bit more, but I'm also not trying to buy that many plants for myself as well, so yeah. I actually don't buy that many plants for myself anymore because I'm learning to appreciate the plants that I have, and I feel less stressed out when I don't have that many. So this one is the Syngonium Panda. It has a really beautiful variegation. It's very green on green. I feel like people might confuse it with the green splash. I think that's what it's called. They're kind of similar looking, but I do like the Panda better overall. If I could get a green splash, I probably would though, still to have it. I definitely think that this plant has good genetics. It's put out this half moon and this half moon here, and it does have some really nice speckled leaves as well. So definitely a nice plant worth having. It grows beautifully. In the corner here, I have a really tall Syngonium albo. It's putting out this like yellowish color now. It's really giving Aria, but it is a Syngonium albo. This Syngonium albo is in pon. I think Syngoniums are a good plant to practice new things on. Like if you're trying pon for the first time or leca for the first time, I think Syngoniums take it very well. They're very resilient, and most of the time you won't have an issue like with them. So I think it's a good plant to practice with and to experiment with. And then this little guy is just a little prop that I took because all of my Gloriouses are imports. Okay, so this is the Milsbo. This is my final cabinet. We did a whole reorganizing video of me cleaning the cabinets, reorganizing. So if you want to see that, I'll put that at the top in the card so you can go check that out. Mostly up here we have anthuriums. This is one of my anthurium experiments. It's a crystallinum. I think crystallinums are also a good anthurium to experiment with. I'll show you up close when I'm done watering, but it's in pon and the roots are literally coming out of the container. It's kind of crazy. We have the big Lux back here. This one, I repotted it into a 5.5 deep pot, and it's perfect for it. This pot is really deep and it stabilizes it a lot. Since it's like a top heavy plant, I needed something that was gonna stabilize it because it kept falling over. But this one makes it way better. This plant right here, this is my Anthurium King. It's finally putting out leaves. I don't know why, but it's such a slow grower. Since I did repot it, it is putting out leaves now. Before it just wasn't, so maybe it was a repotting issue. But I'm happy to see some new growth coming. This is just a Amy Duran cutting in water. I'm just filling the water back up. It's finally rooting. I've struggled with rooting these in water, and I'm just so thankful that I see roots coming out right now. This anthurium here is my newest anthurium from Ecuagenera. This is a crystallinum crossed with a BCA, not sure how to pronounce it. I've never even heard it pronounced, so I wouldn't even know. The one thing I will say about Ecuagenera is that they do have some cool anthurium hybrids. So, you know, if you're looking for some anthurium hybrids at a cheaper price, definitely check them out there. I don't feel like their plants are the best quality, but you get what you pay for, right? Your girl is out of breath, y'all. Like, I'm always so tired. This is, I'll put it on the screen because I don't know how to pronounce it, but this plant, it acts like it's dead when it's really thirsty. So you can see it's super floppy. It's fine. Probably in like 20 minutes of it getting water, it's gonna perk back up. It is a really beautiful plant. It has that silver bluish color. Like, I think it is kind of a new plant on the plant market. A lot of people don't know what it is. And if you're looking at the saucers and you're like, oh my God, that's so much water. I'm gonna come back after the video's done and empty it out. I'm just leaving them in it for like maybe like 5 to 10 minutes so that they can just soak up the extra water, like kind of like bottom watering it, and then I'll just come back and dump it out. It's not a big deal. This is the Adansonii mint that is on a leca pole, growing in pon and leca. And then this is the Florida Beauty bottom half, the one that broke. And it's fully rooted in leca, so I just left it alone since it broke. This little shelf here, I have the Anthurium Dorayaki and the Silver Blush. The Dorayaki I actually got from an auction when I was like doing like a lot of like plant auctions and stuff like that. And the Silver Blush is actually an import. I've had bad luck importing anthuriums because it's not like a philodendron where if the roots are bad when you get it, you can just chop it up and like basically propagate it like in water or whatever. Anthurium, like if it's bad when it arrives, it's really hard to get it back in good shape. And this is like one of the only anthuriums that really like made it. And this one is from Aroid Asia that I got back in March. Out of all the times that I've imported plants, Aroid Asia was the best quality plants, hand down. Every single plant that I got from them survived. Normally when you import, you're gonna lose a couple or whatever or struggle. Every single plant that I got like arrived in great condition and survived, and I ordered like 8 plants, 6 to 8 plants or something like that. It was amazing. So I think I would definitely recommend ordering from there if you're thinking about importing. And they're really professional, everything like that. They have their own website. It's not like it's just like one of those sellers on IG that you have to like DM them. Aroid Asia has their own website. This is the Monstera albo. It is air layering down here. You can't really see it, but it's in a really large pot. So I'm gonna take this one to the sink. I'm gonna take the Thai to the sink as well. We have this Clarinervium right here. This one is from Equigenera, a part of my recent anthuriums that I got. Hope you can see. I potted it also in this deep pot to stabilize it, and it's doing well. I'm just taking my time making sure that it gets saturated really well. The good thing about this water sprayer, I like this brand better than my 2-gallon one because the pressure is like more, so it like waters it super fast. My other 2-gallon one is a little bit, doesn't have that much pressure, but I think it's because it's broken, so I have to get another one. Behind the Clarinervium is an Anthurium Cosmorelense that I also got from Equigenera a few months ago. It hasn't really done anything for me. I think it's because I have inconsistent watering habits, but it does have a little growth point. I'll show you in a second when I'm finished. This is the Cosmorelense. It just has 1 leaf. So I just zoomed in really close. It has a little growth point right there. It's had that for a while, so hopefully soon it'll come out. Down here we have a Paricio Verde. Yes, I know it needs to be up closer to the light. I don't have space right now figuring it out. The bottom of this cabinet does not get that much light. I'm thinking about maybe putting another light at the top to just give it some more, but it's okay. It's doing fine still. It's in pon and leca. Hiding back here is the mother plant of the Amigurium. I keep it down here because it is really big, and it's doing fine in low light. It was cut recently, as I told you guys, and it is putting out a new leaf. So even though it's in low light, I think it's doing well. I think it's also a combination because this cabinet is like always at 100% humidity when it's closed, and it's really warm in here. So I think it does fine in here. And I do have this one on a pole as well. And then let me update you on the Florida Beauty that got ripped off. So you can see it's finally rooting. Ew, I hate when it does that like nasty, like this stuff. Ew, I hate that. It looks like bugs, but it is rooting, so I'm super happy about it. It has a new leaf coming out on the top. It has those freaking sticky stuff. I hate that too. But yeah, it's still beautiful, and I'm excited to get this plant in pon actually. All right guys, so that is pretty much it for all of the watering and the updates that I have. I'm gonna go and take the big plants to the sink and get them nice and watered, and then I'm gonna come back in the cabinet and empty out all the saucers, and then my plant chores are done for today and I can relax for the day. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.